Hey everyone, welcome back to another weekend analysis for the S&P 500 and Nasdaq's futures index. I'm not feeling the greatest this weekend, so I'm going to keep everything as short and to the point as possible. But if you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I'll get to it as soon as I see it. And before we get started, let me remind you that I am not a licensed financial advisor and I don't give out any financial advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. These are my personal opinions. You should not be making a trade off of anything that I have to say. And with that, let's get started with the dollar index here. I have the monthly chart pulled up and we can see that we've gotten close but not quite to the CE of this wick. I'm still looking for price to reach up into the monthly volume imbalance here in the purple, and then maybe eventually read up into this imbalance and targeting the monthly volume imbalance up here close to 108.7. Going down to a weekly chart, I have my eyes on two discount arrays. There's a small little BISI here. I want to see this hold the support and not be broken down. If price should break through, I got my eyes jumping to the CE of this tail here, and I want to see this hold the support. Now price has already traded up and closed above the CE of this wick, so I'm still looking for price to reach for the monthly volume balance, and we have buy side liquidity above these two highs up here. So I want to see price come up and take out the buy side liquidity here, but I want to see price close above the monthly volume balance. I don't want to see a wick above and then come back down. Now, should price be able to close above the highs here, then I'll be looking for price to reach up into our inefficiency up here and the monthly volume imbalance. Since there's a lot of distance between the high and that inefficiency, let's jump down to the daily to see if we can put out any milestones in between. Go down to the daily chart, we can see that before we reach the inefficiency that we're looking for, there's another swing high on the daily with buy side liquidity above it. So we could have this as a milestone for price to reach for. And then if you look closer here, we had these three candles, up close candles right here. And before that, we have another set of three up close candles. So if we can see that price was trading up and then dropped down sharply, we can see that this will be a change in the state of delivery, and we'll be looking at these series of three candles as an order block. Price then starts to rally again and then drops. And then these three candles can be seen as another order block. So an order block near another order block, I will look at this as a propulsion block. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So from the candle's low and the candle's body high, I'm only using the bodies, and I drew out halfway. This is going to be the mean threshold of this propulsion block. So I want to see price close above here. That'll give me confidence to reach for the buy side liquidity here and into our inefficiency and potentially shoot for our target on the monthly volume imbalance. So now I want to zoom into the last couple of months of price action to look at some discount arrays for support. So we can see here last week we created a BISI. It's reasonable for price to reach back down into it and use this as support to propel price higher. The second purple here, this is going to be that monthly volume balance. This is the price I'm looking for. And then below that, we have a swing low and another weekly volume balance. This is the one on the weekly that I said I want to see hold as support. So price could potentially sweep below here, pick up some more liquidity to go higher. But I do not want to see price close below the swing low, below this weekly BISI on a daily candle basis. So on for a daily candle, I don't want to see a daily candle close below the weekly BISI. Okay, so let's now jump into S&P. This is going to be the ESZ 2023, the December contract, and being a new contract month, let's just quickly take a look at the monthly chart. There's not much to know except for this big inefficiency here. So I have a BISI marked out with the green lines, and the purple is going to be halfway, the consequent encroachment. So we see price reach down in August, barely got got very close to the halfway mark and then rejected it. So this by itself is a bullish sign, but let's go down into the weekly to see if we could take a closer look. So taking a look at the weekly, we see price does have a weekly SIBI here that it got traded into, then price rejected and started to decline. I do see price reaching for at least the high of that monthly BISI. And if it does get animated, it can go and take the sell side liquidity below the swing low. And if you note, there is a BISI here on the weekly chart right below 50%. So this would be a good place for price to reach for. And if it does get extremely bearish, there's a larger BISI below it with a volume imbalance. So that's only if it gets really bearish, and if price does end up closing below here, I can see price reaching for the lower swing highs, or excuse me, the lower swing lows over here back in May. So looking at the daily chart, here the red lines are going to be that weekly SIBI. I want to see this act as resistance. And then we have the monthly BISI that I want to see price reach for. And if price can reach for it strongly, we're looking for the swing lows below here. Now we do see that we have a daily BISI that was pretty large, and price did work up and down in it for quite a while. It did leave the range on the upside Thursday into another daily SIBI. You can see the body, although not perfect, it is respecting that SIBI, and then price dropped really quickly on Friday down, taking out the weekly low. But you can see that price still closed inside the daily BISI. So technically it hasn't left the range yet. I do anticipate it leaving the range on the downside, but want to keep my eye close on how price behaves because it hasn't left the range yet. So it could be somewhat choppy this week and potentially even start reaching up for the volume balance up here. But I'm leaning towards the downside, but just want to keep my eyes out for more evidence. And lastly, we'll take a look at Nasdaq. This is the monthly chart for NQZ 2023. This is the December contract. We'll note the big buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency here on the monthly. And we have an old monthly high that goes pretty close to the halfway point of that BISI. Above it, there's another BISI that we've wicked through once before. And since it's a large wick, we have this consequent encroachment, and it's aligned at the high of that BISI. So we haven't reached through there just yet, but we see price starting to decline, and I'll be interested in seeing how price behaves once it reaches these key levels. Going down to a weekly, we get a little bit more detail. Here, this up close candle, I'm using this as a weekly order block. Using the body of the candle, we can see that price has wicked through it a couple of times, but has ultimately respected it. The body of these candles have closed in this old SIBI here. Price has gone down, and now it's kind of respecting the CE of this wick. So we can see price is kind of in the range at the moment, but I want to see price close below this wick and reach for this weekly sell side liquidity and into our monthly inefficiency here. So let's go down to the daily to see if we get a little bit more granular. So going down to the daily, we see we also have this daily SIBI here that price wicked through it a few times and closed below. So ultimately respecting this SIBI, and on the weekly it has been respecting this SIBI as well. Price dropped down on Friday to create the low of the week, currently respecting that weekly wick CE. Now I want to see if price can reach below the daily sell side liquidity right here, and I want to see price close below this large BISI by these two green lines here. If price can close below the BISI, then I can see price reaching for these inefficiencies below and the daily swing low here and the swing low here. But that all hinges on whether or not price can close below. If not, then I would think price will just hang around in this range and it could be pretty choppy. So you just got to be pretty nimble in your intraday trading. So that's my analysis for the week. I hope you find this insightful. I hope you find this entertaining. And if you like this kind of content, please give me a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you again next week.